In 2009, I had a stroke, which was fine. You know, like God carries you in his arms through the tough spots. But right after I got released from the hospital, I lost my father, and I was a daddy's girl. So me losing my father was horrible, especially when I needed him most during recovery. It was like God was carrying me, and then he dropped me on my backside. I was angry, mad at God. I was done. No church, no prayer. I was done. God and I were done. 2 years later, I had a dream. My father came to me in my dream and said, Sheri, it's time to let it go. So, okay. In my head, I said, let's do this. So I went to confession with Father Izzy, confessed how angry I was at God and how much it hurt to be away from the church. And of course, because of my stroke, I couldn't remember the contrition prayers. So I said, Father, can you help me through this? So we did the act of contrition. I said, okay, Father, I'm ready for my penance. And he goes, Sheri, you've done it. I walked out of that confession and I felt so free. The first thing I did, I went to the gift shop and bought myself a rosary. Put it on my rearview mirror in my car. Not more than a week later, I was in a bad car accident with an 18-wheeler. He flipped my car over. I had to be cut out of the car. I was upside down, my shoulder on the pavement. I could see my rosary at the rearview mirror, and the only prayer I could remember was the Our Father. So I started reciting the Our Father, and God told me, Sheri, you're hurt, but you're okay. The whole time during the accident, I never cried. I never passed out. The emergency person that helped cut me out of the car had called me later, a couple of days later, and said, are you Catholic? I said, yes. He goes, well, I went back to the accident scene to see if there's any personal belongings. I found your crucifix on the ground right where you were laying. He picked it up, he returned it to me. I still have that crucifix in my car. But I am convinced that was God's way of saying, you're forgiven. Without a doubt, my father won, but he's been my role model for everything. He was always grateful for what he had, never was harsh. Anyone did anything to him, immediately he forgave them. I mean, he was just a very kind, and he saw Christ in everybody. He's probably my biggest role model for everything I do. Just recently, I've been really looking at St. Maria Goretti. In fact, yesterday I went to go see her relics in Houston. That girl, 11 years old, was attacked by a neighbor, and he ended up killing her. On her deathbed, she forgave him. Her mother forgave him. I mean, this is a small child forgiving the man that stabbed her. What bigger act of mercy can you have? So those are probably my two biggest role models for mercy. Those role models, St. Maria helps a lot. If a child at 11 years old can forgive her attacker for raping her and stabbing her, how can I not forgive someone for something smaller? Accepting mercy is hard. You can do it in your head, but accepting it in your heart, that's the hard part. Once you have that relationship with Jesus, it's easier to let your soul and your heart open up. So I do a lot of praying. That helps me with mercy. Develop a relationship with Jesus, a deep relationship, like he's your friend, because he is your friend. He's your best friend. When you develop that relationship with Jesus, you can really trust in him. Trust in Jesus, not the circumstances of the situation. Because the trust in Jesus will never fail. You may misjudge the circumstances around things, but trust in Jesus. Develop that relationship. Know he loves you beyond compare, beyond more than anybody else, without judgment. I think that's the biggest advice, is develop a relationship with Jesus. That ability to love unconditionally. No matter how someone hurts you, beyond intellect, you still love them with your heart. To see the Christ in people, that's mercy. to get beyond the intellect, the things your mind tells you. Oh, that person's poor because he deserves it, or he doesn't work hard enough. Can you find it in your heart to still be merciful and reach out to that person? Beyond the logic, can you reach out for them in your soul?